don't quite get it, you know, but I think Xiaoxie is one of the casters, one of the Chinese casters, as far as I'm aware. But that's pretty much all I know, so thank you for the $10, do appreciate some love in the chat, please. As we get set up into game number 1 of this best of 3 series, PvZ time. We kick it off to the bottom right-hand side of the map with our teal Protoss player from Splice. Give it up for Stats. And he's going up against the red Zerg to the top left-hand side from Team Liquid. It is Snute. A doable group, I would say, from Snute. He took a game of Hero in Katowice. I feel Jachi is very beatable for Snute as well. I feel Stats is very beatable for Snute also, so I think it's a very doable group from Snute. Feels though this could be the one where we maybe see Foreigner move on through into Monday's playoffs. They will take place at same time, same place, midday CET on Monday for our playoffs. We're going to be casting 2 of the round of 8 matches, then both semi-finals and our finals. Again, so far qualified into that Dark, Bjorn, Innovation, Su, Gumiho, and Solar. Just a few of the best players in the world. You know, just a few of them. Just a couple. And right now, Stats is on a pretty quick one-way route to qualifying himself through into the playoffs as well. I mean, he's pretty close to it, right? So, he's on his way over there. He's on his way. Wardy has the highest cast in APM, but maybe I was so sure that I did have the settings set, because when we came out of the game, the settings were there. But obviously it just decides it at a before that point. So, no, it's a little bit unfortunate, because I was very close. I very nearly made it happen. Here C equals black stockings. Poor Xiaoxie, man. It feels like he's getting picked on a little bit. Is he like the bullied one in the Chinese casters? What's up, Muku, hitting us up with the 15-month resub? Guys, get some SJ hearts in the chat, please. Is this some Instagram model stream trying to sell me poop tea? What's up, Muku? How are we doing? Thank you for the 15 months. That's a crazy one. 15. We had another 15-month resub just the other day as well. It's kind of crazy. A bunch of 15-monthers coming on through. Very, very much, guys. Do appreciate it. Moving on forwards, upwards and together and all the rest of it. Love you guys. Thank you, Muku, for the resub. Some love in the chat once again, please, guys. Now, we do set up into a Robo Twilight opening from Stats, so looking as though he wants to play a Dark Templar into Archon drop opening here in the early stages. And that's right away. We see just a couple of Zerglings of Snute starting to move down to the south side, and Adept here from Stats will come forwards and gets a little bit of damage done already. One of those Zerglings going down to half health. So one of those Zerglings already been turned away. And these couple of probes are going to come up towards the natural expansion as well. And start mining away too. So I'm going to start mining away up here. And there is that Dark Shrine coming down. So start setting up into this. And I mean, pretty much as we expect when we see these structures. Nothing too crazy just yet then. Obviously from Snute, cross spawns is good for him in the long run. But it does make his scouting a little bit more difficult. And as we see the Overlord from the left side, it's going to be a little bit slow to come forwards, and the same from the top. And actually, if there that Robo, Twilight, and Dark Shrine is positioned, it's kind of difficult to scout it. You know, you've got to pretty much get through an entire base before you're going to be able to see that there. So that's going to be really tough to deal with. And we're going to see some more drones just finishing on up over towards this natural expansion. Still going to keep his in-base for maybe his 4th base, perhaps. He takes the 3rd base up here now. And again, it helps him to push creep on the map and so on, so it's alright. Could be a little bit troubling against, against the DT drops, but we'll see. He starts up some spore crawlers anyway, so he looks as though he's going to be okay. Actually, he isn't really quite prepared for DTs on the main or the natural, so he could be in a little bit of trouble here if he doesn't find this out very soon, actually. DTs are going to start warping in. Just 2 of them for now. It's only the 3rd base with a spore crawler, though. And that could very shortly be a very dead natural expansion or something. Only 2 gates here from Stats, and the reason for this is they kind of were discussing this, I think, and it's a way to kind of go for the DT drop at the same sort of time, but you don't, you go for the DT drop at a similar timing, but you don't really, you get your follow-up a little bit faster because you don't commit to the 4 gates as quickly. Spore on the way up in the main, that's unfortunately where the DTs are, so that Spore Crawler right now needs to be protected. Snute does get the full surround, so you should be able to keep it around here. And see, I mean, a few drones will go down. It's kind of inevitable at this point. And he's, I mean, 7 workers isn't even that bad, though. Keeping the Lings nearby. Yeah, this wasn't actually so bad. Like, 7 workers isn't brilliant to lose, but considering he wasn't really prepared with the spores, this could have been so much worse, I think. So, pretty good defense right there. Ooh, especially as he kills this off right now. He catches this DT as well. So now suddenly the DTs are dead and the Warp Prism too. That's actually a huge move by Snute. That's actually pretty crazy. So Snute now going to be able to keep himself in a really good position. As we actually see a lot of Zerglings going to start heading down towards the bottom right-hand side of the map. Lair is on the way up here from Snute as well. The +1 melee attack going to be finishing in the very near future too. So +1 melee going to be finishing. A Forge coming up at the front. Pylons coming down as well. And we're just going to be seeing stats setting up into the third base. But again, losing the Prism is really annoying because it means there's no follow-up Archon drops or anything along those lines. And that's, of course, one of the major points of this entire build, to get in towards the Archons and to start dropping them and starting to, you know, do a few more, do a bit of damage in that regard. Now, Resonating Glaives is coming up on this Twilight Council, so that's the next stage of this from stats. Going in towards Glaives, he didn't get Blink or anything yet, so just going straight in towards Glaives and +1. So going to be pretty adept heavy throughout the early stages. However, Snute with the Spire coming down could put stats into a little bit of a difficult position here, in all honesty. So, see how this is going to go. We're going to have the Rotron coming on in behind the mineral line. You're going to see this Warp Prism is moving in towards the center of the map with this couple of Archons. So he's moving in towards the middle here. I'm just going to be seeing the Queens popping down. A few more Creep Tumors. So a few more Creep Tumors coming on in. And again, this Warp Prism continuing to head up towards the top left. I mean, now Snute double expanding. We'll see if he's able to defend this base in his natural or in his in-base. Because he doesn't like defending these bases, I don't think. That's why, same on Varney Research Station back in the day, he would always take this sort of base last, or very late in the game. He's going to take it now. There's a few Archons coming in already. He's going to start taking some damage. 4 or 5 workers dropping, and Lings do arrive to start fighting against these Archons. Nice Prism Micro to minimize the damage taken and to pick up some more kills. So Spire's about to finish up. Snute will have some money to go into meters right away. And again, you look across the map, well, where's the anti-air? Archons are okay for anti-air, but they're not the best because obviously the meters will just fly around the Archons, They're not going to fly into Archons and take a fight. So while the Archons will keep the army fairly safe, they're not going to be the mobile defense you need, like Blink Stalkers, to really start shutting down these Mutalisks. Prism still sat to the far left side. And we're going to have Nexus on the way up here to the bottom side as well. Going to see a few Roaches continue to come out too. And these Mutas still just up in the sky. Going to fly forwards and, well, going to start doing some damage. They're going to catch the Prism. Takes down the Archons. Nice way to start with the Mutalisks, of course. And it will continue to shut down further Prism plays. So he'll take this opportunity now to get across the map. Then as he's across the map, he'll try and pick up some probes. And then he can pull the Mutas back to start dealing with what is potentially a new Prism, etc. So that's good from Snute. I mean, killing off the first Prism always nice. It does just give you so much more freedom as the Zerg. And as he flies on in, he's going to get a couple of workers over here in no space. He's actually going to go for the cannon momentarily. Wonder if that was just a misclick or missed target, because, again, that could have been a couple more workers, and it's unlikely he's really going to commit to trying to kill off the cannon. Really only pure Lings from Snute behind the Mutalist, by the way, which is kind of interesting. He does have a Bane Nest. He does have Bane Speed. He does have Roach Speed too, but he's just not really been making too much of anything. He's got 12 Roaches, I guess. But, they don't seem, that's not that many. Let's see how many Banes he's going to morph in at the front here. Snute's about to be maxed out and getting ready to fight, by the way. Like, he really wants to fight sometime soon, I think. Ling's going to run in over to this side, and he tries to get the Forge, wants to try and get rid of the +2 upgrade. He's going to pick away at a couple more probes here as the Cannon and Stalkers continue to fight away. Still not morphing in those Banes. Snute. And he's got Ravagers he can morph in as well, which is also not going to be a bad choice. Ravagers go a long way towards this army composition working out, actually, so what's interesting, he's just backing away again. He's not going to commit to a fight. As we're going to see in the natural expansion, well, cannon does go down. Meters are going to fly forwards, and that's going to be another dead cannon or two. Actually, no cancel on those cannons which are building. So again, Snute just keeping stats busy, pulling units out of position, and just trying to be annoying with these Mutalisks so that he can make the most of his army at a later point. But looks as though Snute's actually pretty happy to sit back for the most part and just wait for Hive to finish and going towards whatever his next stage of the composition might be, whether that's going to be a Greater Spire for Broodlords or what. I'm not 100% certain, actually. Stad's army looking pretty good here himself, but man, there's so much money in the bank for Snute. I'm so surprised he didn't try to go for a lot of Banes and try and bust through, but I guess he just saw the Archon count and said, well, why? You know, why would I commit to that if I feel as though it's not really going to work for me? He used a few lings over here to do some damage, and they're very quickly working their way through this cannon and a couple of probes. It's kind of crazy how much damage lings can do just with +2. Never mind when this +3 melee finishes and the adrenal glands upgrade as well. They're going to be slaughtering everything, as Snute now going to position to the right and hit another run by. And again, keeping Stats busy, stopping him from really doing what he wants to do. However, double Archon and Zealots in this base, and all of a sudden Snute is losing a lot of workers over here, but he's also killing a lot of workers as Stats is just going to start the base trade. A few DTs over here to help defend, but DTs are very slow to actually kill off Zerglings, because they do they just do so much overkill basically. So they have an interesting moment or two. Snute was building a lot of spines. They're over in this direction though, so they're not quite in the right place. And he's going to start turning back around. And Snute's going to head up to the top side of the map. He'll lose another hatchery here. He didn't actually kill an expansion of Stats. He just killed the workers. So it's a little bit of an interesting situation as Snute has a lot of money to spend. He morphs in a lot of Banes. And he's going to make some roaches here. I guess he's lava starved, right? Yeah, he's got no lava at the moment. And that's going to be hurting him. He's starting to morph in Broodlords too. How much can Stats get done with this army then? He's already taken Snute to a very low worker count. But if Snute gets the Broodlords up, and he can fight with everything, well, maybe he can make this work. Corrosive Vial's coming down, and he's starting to hit in a few different places. Banes will roll forwards as well. Actually, a few of them hitting nicely to the left-hand side here. And Stats, he's starting to lose out a little bit. Some Zealots actually warping in as the, Banelings disappear. Snute doesn't have much left over. He just didn't quite have enough to make this happen, did he? The fact he has all the Spine Crawlers just in the complete wrong location. I mean, here come the Broodlords, though, so actually, Snute can kind of turn the... he'll kill this army, right? The Broodlords can't be killed here unless, and I guess there'll be a warping of Stalkers. Stats actually has a lot of money in the bank still, but actually, Ravagers will be able to Corrosive Vial down the Warp Prism. Yeah, I mean, actually, overall, Snute cleans up. It's just Stats has so much money left over. He's been able to keep a lot of workers alive, and Snute lost pretty much all of his bases, right? He's down to just 2 bases at the moment, so... This was very close, though. Like, a couple of different moves, and I feel as though Snute is actually in a pretty reasonable position overall. You know, because he is very close. Like, if he keeps one more base alive and a few more workers, perhaps, he might still be able to contest this. So, what could he have done different, I guess? It's hard to... I mean, I guess he could have maybe tried to run by the left side after he attacked the 3rd base, hit this 4th base too. Because if he kills more of Stats' army, well, that's good. Maybe he shouldn't have fought here until the Broodlords were ready as well and just fought with everything. Well, because was he in a rush to fight there? Well, I don't think so. Because it wasn't as though he was going to be taking too much further damage. The army wasn't in a position to do much more damage, so that was maybe a bit of a too early a fight. Stalker's just going to micro around here. Spines try and reposition as well. Snoot just going to try and stay in there. Some Broodlings dropping down from above. Spines again burrowing up once more. And this is going to be the group of units moving around here to the center. Stat's not sure if he wants to fight in quite yet. Not sure if he wants to make this happen. Especially against the Broodlords. He looks as though he wants to play it safely. Extra Stargates, Philippe can probably just get up to a few Tempests and then be able to really just push it and know for sure that he's going to be able to clean this up. So Stat's playing it out safely right now. He'll send a Prism around, keep on harassing. It all started with those 2 Archons and a few Zealots over in this base, and then all of a sudden the Stats was in the middle of the map starting a base trade, and there's no real answer. Pathfinder Clans is coming on in. Psystorm on the way up on the Templar Archives as well. And, I mean, Stats just keeps on expanding too. Doesn't want to fight these Broods, so he does just back away from the center. No real surprise on that one. So backing away from the center. Doesn't want to fight the Broodlords again. He's got Tempest on the way, right? So he will do very shortly. And he's been setting up to go in towards that, so no reason to fight too early. Killing off a few more drones in the main base. Stats again. Just keeping Snute busy while he sets up into everything he needs for this. As we're going to see to the right-hand side, well, Stalkers, Archons, and Immortal continue to back away here. More and more drones going down, actually. 15 workers killed. The 2 Archons lifting back up into this Prism, and Ravagers and a Roach from Snute still just gaffering together on this left-hand side of the map. Stalkers, Archons, and Immortal in the middle too. Stats still looking around to see what else he can get up to right now. Looking to see what might be next, as if he gets a few Tempests on the way up. So a few Tempests coming on in, a couple of Infestors start to build as well. +2 air weapons coming down from Stats. And +3 ground weapons as well. Continue to build up on this forge. And again, looking to see what he can get into now. I mean, Snute's still trying to build up himself, right? Like, he's really building a composition that's going to be amazing, or it's just going to kind of completely disappear. You know, if the fungal growth's available, if he can hit fungal bile combinations, then who knows what Snute can still do in this game. But if he doesn't get anything with those, then very quickly, again, these infestors will die. You know, the fungals on alone aren't going to do very much, so it's pretty interesting as you're going to be seeing these Ravagers just join up beneath the Broodlords, as we have in Zealot to the far right hand side, is still looking around, still looking to see what is happening. Stats with a intention of taking a gold base of his own. I mean, that's the issue, right? Stats just continues to expand around the map, and there's no slowing Stats down at all. You know, these rocks get taken down. What do you do here? I mean, a Nexus gets taken, a pylon gets put down next to it. I mean, it's another base that Stats is just going to have available to himself. 6 base against, well, I mean, the Zerg that's been on 5. You know, he's had this base as well, so he's had like 5-ish bases. I mean, Stats just has so much to work with here, and again, Snute, he's got to look for a bit of a miracle fight, you know, fungal, bile combinations. Doesn't even have Burrow on these infestors, though, so he doesn't even have a way to kind of catch Stats off guard. It would just be Stats making a mistake here, realistically, for Snute to come back into it. And it's just going to continue to work their way through. A few more of these group tumors again. Stats just playing it safely. He doesn't want to take any risks. He doesn't have to. Snute will run by with a few Zerglings, trying to make something happen right now. I mean, again, if you can try and get something, well, something is better than nothing, right? He's just taking down one cannon here, another. I mean, canceling the gold base, it's nice, right? He's slowing Stats down, and he has to do, you know, again, whatever he can pick up right now is going to help him out to try and come back in this game a little bit. I think he's still fighting this cannon. I mean, +3 adrenal gland lings are crazy, man. And he's going to have one ling left over, just continuing to pick away at these probes. This one little Zergling, man. Come on. Stats, please. Stats, please. Finally. The Zergling is going to get... No! The cannon... The cannon sort of got blocked, and all sorts went on there. That Zergling, what a hero. Really fighting until the very, very end. As, well, here we go. Stalkers, Archons. Tempest 2 going to fight on in, and... well, we're going to see a couple of creep tumors going down. Spore Crawler as well. Continue to push on forwards here. We see Stats is, well, just still maxed out. Snute going to sit behind his spine wall with this composition, which, again, might make something happen. It's really not guaranteed. It's not really likely. But there's potential. And all you need for some hope is some potential. And let's see what happens. Fungal growth initially is good. Catches the Stalkers. Corrosive Bowels are a follow-up. He needs the fungal growth on these Tempests. There they are. More corrosive bowels need to start coming in right now if he's going to make this happen. Another fungal growth. Storm coming down too. There's more corrosive bowels. Tempests are disappearing in the skies. Snute is starting to make something happen here, guys. He's starting to make something happen. Some more corrosive bowels. Some more Tempests are dropping. I mean, pretty much all the Tempests have just been cleaned out. And I'm not saying Snute is suddenly winning this game or anything, but he will clean up. He will push this away. He almost evens up the army supply, actually. Wow. 67 to 74 supply. Stats with so much money in the bank, though, and that's the thing. He can just keep on warping in. He's already got a lot of Zealots and Archons in the main base, too, so even if he's losing his Tempest towards the front, they killed the Broodlords already. I mean, he's gotten rid of the biggest kind of scare factor here, and there's no way Snute has an economy to afford more Broodlords, really, so he will rebuild Tempest, because why not? But it's not like he immediately needs them or anything, as we're just going to be seeing. These Ravagers continue to fight, the Archons continue to go down over here, and that will in the end actually though just be GG from Snute. Stats does pick up the first game. Snute making it to Proxima Station. Game number 1 of this best of 3. Top right side from Team Liquid, the red Zerg player. Give it up if you're cheering on Snute. Bottom left side, Blue Plurals player, representing Splice. It's Stats. Okay then, game number 2. Got some Stats fighting emotes coming in the chat. Let's go Stats. I met Stats at Katowice. Really cool guy. Really cool guy. I actually hung out with him quite a bit. it was some good fun. We had some good fun together, so I was not gonna lie, I was cheering for him in the finals. I really was. Unfortunately, of course, he didn't quite make it happen. But man, he's just such a likable guy. He's funny. He can speak a little bit of English as well, which is cool. I mean, it's crazy what speaking just a little bit of English can do to just make the Koreans so much more accessible. As like, to kind of see what kind of see what they're like. It was the same with Alive. We hung out with Alive too, and Alive is really funny. Alive is really funny. So yeah, it's pretty awesome being able to hang out with the Koreans, man. Finding like another side to them and stuff like that. It's pretty insane. So we get set up into this second game now. Not really too much happening super early. Snute will expand out the front. I think that's pretty standard for a Zerg player who intends to go up to 3 bases, because I mean, there's only benefits to gain from this. Having the creep further forward and so on. It's an easy enough base to defend early anyways, so just going to go up to the 3 bases nice and quick. Expand on the low ground. Nothing surprising from Snute in the first 2 minutes or so. Same from stats. He's just expanding where we expect him to, as we expect him to. And wait to see what the next stage of this is then from both of the players. Are we going to be seeing some fast tech from stats? Is it going to be the Archon drop opening once again? Is he going to go for Stargate play style? We've seen a lot of Stargate openings in PvZ as of late. Stargate openings in all the matchups have really become very popular. PvT for Phoenix Adept, and well, there we go right here in PvZ. The Stargate does come on down, and Snute will scatter it immediately. See what stats builds with this then. I mean, there's so many different ways you can open with this Stargate nowadays. Single Oracle into Phoenix, single Oracle into 1 Void Ray or 1 Phoenix, double Oracle. Play straight towards Sky Toss. That's definitely a viable option here on Proxima Station, because you just have so much to work with, really. Like, you just have so many bases to work with so easily. 3 bases come very easily defendable. You can add cannons at the front to help just in case you need them. 4th base you can take in a very forward location too, and that also helps you if you're playing this sort of Sky Toss playstyle. So, setting up and looking to see what's going on. How is this map different from Dusk Towers? That's actually a pretty interesting question. I mean, obviously the base layout is a bit different. You don't have a ramp up into the 3rd base either. There's a couple more options to attack into the natural expansion. I think that's one of the main things. Because the 3rd base is a bit more to kind of not, imagine the 3rd base was here. Then I think it's basically Dusk Towers, where this back base is untouchable. But with the 3rd base here, then there's a lot more drop potential, harassment potential up this right-hand lane. And that just gives you a few more options to sort of attack in towards the natural expansion, which Dusk Towers definitely didn't have. And obviously, actually, I think kind of past this, actually on this map, go up to 4th bases, and past 4 bases can be a bit more difficult on this map than Dusk Towers as well. It's an interesting one, actually. It definitely doesn't get as split map as Dusk Towers used to do. And it's just got to be something to do with the layout of the bases and so on, It's interesting, though. It's interesting. Actually, it's a really interesting question. So, yeah. Cool question. How's it different to Dusk Towers? It's always fun to compare maps with older maps, Like Galactic Process with Cloud Kingdom. Yeah, to be fair, actually, I think a lot of great maps that get made are maps which have sort of an idea based on an older map, and like they look to improve on it and so on. I really like Proxima. I think it's cool to have a map that's an easy 3 bases, but that isn't impossible to do anything against, And again, I feel as though this plays out nicely. It's got a good mixture of macro-oriented while still being able to harass and, make something happen within the first 20 minutes of the game. Because Dusk Towers really was this stalemate of a map where every single time you were just expecting to go super late. Because how were you ever going to fight? How were you ever going to engage into your opponent? Well, you just kind of weren't. It was just impossible. Do you see extra Stargates and Fleet Beacon coming down? We mentioned the possibility of going in towards a Sky Toss playstyle for stats here. And that's exactly what he's going for. Single Oracle into Void Ray, but he will follow up with more Void Rays and Carriers in the coming moments. So, stats setting up into this, and well, we look to see what Snute's response to Sky Toss is going to be in the next few moments. Is he going to look to hit early, maybe hit a Nidus network or something crazy like that? Is he just looking to play it late and tech quickly up in towards Hive Tech and a few Ultras alongside Corruptors, Vipers, Infestors, and whatever else? He's going to use that Neural Parasite, something we've seen a lot of as of late too, coming in from players such as Nurture and other top Zergs from around the world. I'm gonna see this Oracle is actually very nearly going down. Just about managing to survive right there. So Oracle just staying alive, and well, I'm going to see a Stargate dropping from stats in the main base. So Stargate drops down over here. We're going to be seeing just more and more of these building on up, so making sure he's got enough production just to suffice his income. You can see a 4th baseman suit does take taken to the right-hand side, which I don't mind so much, actually. The right-hand side base is more open to run-bys and smaller attacks. Against the Skytoss army, it's probably a bit safer because this base is much easier for the Skytoss player to push into. You know, you come up through the middle of the map anyway, boom, you hit the gold, easy. And also the rocks weren't down either, which makes it a little bit vulnerable, which is probably one of the main reasons here. But, yeah, just, Oracle going to go down from these couple of queens. Nice targeting there. And these Zerglings going to try and keep on fighting too. But yeah, I guess just taking the base to the right makes a lot more sense, especially with the rocks. But again, I also like it, you know, against Skytoss, it feels as though it's probably the safer option for now. What's up, Harstam in the chat, hitting us up with another 15-month resub. So many 15 months coming through right here. Very, very much did appreciate it. He says, Zoro the Fox, so cunning and free. Dude, I haven't got around to watching Zoro yet. I'm finishing off this series I'm watching, and then I'm on the Zoro hype train. Is it still good? Is it getting any better? Have you finished it yet? I'm so excited to start. I've got like 3 or 4 episodes left of this other series. And then it's Zoro all the way, baby. Zoro all the way. I don't even know why I'm so excited for it, but I actually do feel like a little bit excited to watch it. You've got me hooked just from your own excitement. You're going to see a couple of these carriers moving forwards here and looking to see what they can do. There's a creep tumor towards the edge, and, well, Queen's fairly nearby as well. Pathfinder Clan starting from the infestation pit. There's plenty of queens here, realistically. Not every day you see queens fighting carriers, but this will be one of them. And the carrier doesn't go down, but a lot of damage taken, so good defense by Snute. Plenty of queens, knows what he needs. He's got a spy coming up as well. He actually hits a lot of lings down to his left-hand side, and more depths coming in probably means he can't really commit to that fight for too much longer. So does just have to pull away rather quickly there, as a single Void Rain carrier is going to start coming in towards the gold base as well. And we're just going to be seeing the Mothership going to get rid of that base, so that is going to be the cancel. And again, I feel as though, I mean, I guess that's another feature here, the fact that the main and this gold are very close by air. It's another feature where I guess Skytoss would be very good in that sort of position, as we see a lot of Bane's going to finish more from here. Snute going to go for this. Oh, Stats needs a little gap in the wall for the Force Seals, and a few Banes sneak on through. It's not really great, though. I don't think Snute really did much at all with that, though, so it's a little bit unfortunate. Lots and lots of Corruptors coming up. It looks as though Snute wants to sort of go in towards the little bit of a timing right now. Going into the +1 Flyer Carapace, much more useful against the carriers than the +1 air weapons. The reason for that being, of course, the Interceptors fire so quickly, and there's so many of them, that having a Carapace upgrade denying each one of those attacks is so much more valuable than the slow-shooting Corruptor attack being added, you know, having a bit of extra damage onto it. So makes a lot more sense to go into the Carapace upgrade if you've only got the single Spire to work with. And Snute really will be looking to just go in and, you know, try and take down these carriers super fast. However, the tools that Stats needs to get rid of these Corruptors in the sky are on the way up. Multiple Void Rays, the Storm as well. It's coming on in, so getting set up, ready to go for that. This Void Ray coming in towards the top side, and getting ready to look as though hit the main base with a lot of this Sky army. Again, though, because Snute's army, or defense with the Corruptors here is going to be very kind of Sky-focused, then it shouldn't be too much of an issue. It's just he is a little bit out of position. He does take a little bit of a fight over here. Sentry obviously got taken down. Not sure what else, though. And here we go, then. Snute is going to start losing his Hive, which could be problematic, obviously. If you lose your Hive, then you don't have any Viper production. So he's going to have to start rebuilding that right away. There goes the Lair. Evo Chamber going to be targeted as well. And here we go. Corruptors move forwards. And he's going to start targeting down that Mothership. Does he get the kill? No, not quite. And that's the great little thing there about Snute's little attack. Stats' little attack. He can just recall away so easily, you know? He can recall away so easily. And it's really super low commitment for him. So that works out wonderfully. And again, now no Vipers for a little while. You know, Stats can only really be happy about that, the lack of Vipers in the game, as we see. Still, Zerglings moving around the right-hand side, looking to see what else is going on. Looking to see if there's anywhere he can kind of push in and push around in the next few moments. Still staying active on the map with the Lingbane. I wouldn't say he's really done anything at all so far with the Lingbane. I don't think it's really been that successful so far in this game, but I mean, keeping it active on the map, you never know when you're going to find the right opportunity, right? And I wonder what these Banes over here are for. I wonder if he's going to make some dropper lords or something. That'll be interesting. I'm going to see. Maybe it's just to get the Banes far enough away from the Lings in case this happens, so the Banes don't get picked off. Interesting few moments. You're going to see some changes coming through the center there. You're going to slowly get taken down, though, by these Voids and Adepts. Still have a few Lings over here as well. We'll see this forward base being taken. Interestingly, Stats continue to expand on the left side of the map himself. And we all begin to get in towards a different sort of vision of Proxima Station than what we've seen, honestly, for, than what we've been seeing in a long time. It's expanding kind of up the left and down the right. It feels as though I haven't really seen Proxima look like this, and now you're really starting to see Proxima have extra pathways opening up, and so many more options. Corruptors are going to come in towards the main base here. Well, that's going to be goodbye. Templar Archives, a couple of pylons, and this Nexus, but the army of Stats is out across the map. It's out across the map and sat over here and just starting to pick off so much. Lings and Banes being worked against. A lot of these Banes actually going down, and here we go, Corruptors. We're going to start coming back in towards the center to try and take this fight. Fungal Growth drops down. Neural Parasite coming down as well. Time warps the army of Stats because he's got the mothership in his control, and Snute. What a crazy fight this is. Where are the Corruptors, though? They're a little bit late to the party. No recall available, however. Stalkers will warp in on the ground. Do the Corruptors have enough anyways? I don't think so. They're going to start getting rid of some more of these Void Rays. The Stalkers are helping out so much, though, and the Interceptors, too. As it looks as though Snute doesn't quite have a way to make this happen. A crazy fight. The Fungals, the Neurals. He had everything mixed in there. Lings are going to keep coming forwards. This isn't over yet, as Snute still has a lot of money in the bank, and he will clean out the last few Stalkers. So Stalkers will go down. He will have some Infestors left. Does he have the Neural available? He doesn't, and that's what he needs, I think, to just attack, move these carriers down. Wow, what an absolute crazy... One absolute crazy little situation right there. Snute still has money in the bank. I guess he just doesn't know what he wants to do with it. He's going to use these carriers now to clean up the Adepts, and then I guess he'll attack, move the carriers as well onto each other. He's just going to move them into the spores. That's very smart. I don't think the carriers can get away from them spores in time, really. The Corruptor comes in, gets taken down pretty quickly. Oh, target fire, target fire, target fire. He is going to get it. Is he? Actually, the carrier's going to start moving away. He has one more Neural available. I think it's worth using, right? I mean, if you get a carrier kill, surely it's worth using. There we go. Neural in. He's going to move it back towards the Spore Crawler. You don't get away, buddy. You've got to come to your death. And that's going to be goodbye to this carrier. Alright, well, Snute cleans up and still money in the bank, even supplies. Again, an absolutely ridiculous situation right there. As we set on up to see how this is going to be continuing. We see a Queen on the way out, another Infest or two popping out as well. Adept, Stalkers, and Void Rays sat up on this top left-hand side, and, well, lots of Banelings starting to morph on in here. So Snute with a few Banes coming on up. And I see some Lings moving in towards the center, bottom side, and again, looking for opportunities, looking for openings. I'm just going to be seeing him. I mean, this is interesting, because he's actually cleaned out the Sky Army. There's only really Void Rays up, and only 3 of them at that, so it's actually more about the Ground Army now, and well, Snute hasn't overmade Corruptors or anything. He's actually got a good, Ling Bane, a few Ravagers, a lot of Infestors too, and they can be very useful with the Fungal Growth, especially if you've got Corrosive Bars to combo with them. As we're going to be seeing this army moving around, still looking for opportunities, looking for chances. Looking to see what might happen here in the next few moments. Starts taking another base, far top left side. I mean, now we really are getting to kind of the final bases being taken on this map for Stats. I mean, after this base, he's got one of these kind of either top... I don't even know which base you take, really. Bottom? These bases are so disconnected from the rest of the map. It's kind of insane. Like, I guess, like, Snute's gold kind of pushes up in this direction over here. So I guess Stats will take this gold and then down south. What's the resources lost like? 21.8k for Snute, 17.3k for Stats. I think that's kind of expected. I mean, the Zerg player generally has to out-economy the opponent in these sort of situations, so wouldn't say this is too surprising so far. Red Spy coming up here, about 75% of the way done as Corruptors in the main base. Oh, getting rid of these forges. It's actually pretty nice. It's actually really nice. One Corruptor left that's still caustic spraying. And this is a couple, but denying +3 attack. Yeah, especially when there's such a ground-focused army now. It's pretty neat. Snute with the greatest buy about to finish means he can morph those Corruptors he has into Broodlords. And there isn't enough Sky units up really right now from stats to really sort of shut down Broodlords right here. So that's going to put Snute in a good little spot. He did lose a few Corruptors though, which means that actually he's going to have to make those and then Broodlords. He doesn't have time to do that right now, as here we go. Fight will begin. Neuroparasite on the Protoss mothership. And that's going to allow him to just pull this mothership forwards. And it's just going to use the time warp so that nothing else really happens. Some Banes pushing forwards too. Some nice storms. Fungal Grovsky coming down. Corrosive Bars to follow up now. Neuroparasite once again. Mothership just going to be kept in favor of the Berserk player. And now he's going to use it to cloak up his bases. Snute, man, he really wants his own mothership. He's going to kill that off there with the Spore Crawlers, of course. So he picks that off right here. And now Snute. Well, I mean, he keeps on winning these fights. In stats, he has a lot of minerals in the bank, but no real gas. And without gas, what's he going to do? Like, warp in 100 Zealots? Well, I guess he can't afford 100 Zealots, but warp in like 40 Zealots, I mean, they're not really going to do anything against the composition which Snute has been building into throughout this game already, so I'm not too sure. Still some Lings, some Ravagers, Infestors too, moving around, seeing where they can get to. I'm really not too sure, actually. You see a 4 High Temple warping in, a Mothership warps once more. Is that the second Mothership? Third Mothership of the game, right? 2 of them have died. Units lost. It's actually not that ridiculous when you look at it. Because this was kind of a very high-tech army game, there isn't kind of any ridiculous number of units that have been killed. About 200 Zerglings isn't that ridiculous, I would say. And his stats right now. Well, he'll max out again, but he's still on this kind of ground-based army, and I mean, Snute just showed us that he can very effectively deal with the ground-based army with what he's got set up, and I feel it only gets better for Snute as well. Some Corruptors now coming in, which means Broodlords are at the ready, more or less. And that's going to be setting up in the next couple of moments. 6 of these Broods starting to morph in right here. 6 more Corruptors as well, just to help defend them in just in case. A lot of Lings going down to this top side, but they do pick up a few cannons in the process as well. And Snute, there he is. He will take this top base. I mean, it makes sense, right? Taking this top base. It kind of is his base because of the gold here pushing towards. But now these bases are very close to each other. And Snute's still just sitting towards the middle with this larger army. A lot of Broodlords pushing forwards too. We're going to see actually these Spore Crawlers are going to start burrowing and getting set up and ready to go. So Spores are going to burrow here. Yeah, we've seen this Warp Prism with a couple of Archons inside pulling up the left-hand side of the map. And you'll see Zealots, Stalkers, a few Archons as well, a couple of High Templar. Looking around to see what else is going on. We see these Broodlings dropping down and again just keeping stats at bay. And now what does stats do? Does he build Tempest again? Does he go in towards the Skytoss composition? Well, he kind of can't. He doesn't have that much gas. He doesn't have free supply either. Obviously, he can free up supply with a little bit of prism-based harassment and some Zealots going down. Main base is Snute very vulnerable right now as 2 Archons are looking to drop in here in the next few moments. Stats not paying attention though, taking a lot of damage. I mean, that's Warp Prism going to go down before it warps in anything. So I mean, only 2 Archons in the main base. That's not too much of a worry. As Broodlords begin to siege the forward bases of stats. He's also got Zealots and Archons to the right-hand side. Another Warp Prism on this far right. So all of a sudden, actually, stats has killed like 27 drones. Snute says, so what? I don't need drones. Just rebuilds Roaches and a couple of Spines. Some Banes rolling in towards the main. What does he actually do to kill this off? He's got Ravagers here as well. I was going to say, like, Banes on the run are just trading so inefficiently here. It was a little bit sloppy by Snute. Could have been a little bit nicer as we see Broodlings dropping down once again onto this Nexus. Continue to work his way through this. So, Nexus will go down, Cannon as well. And, well, more damage being done here by Snute as we see a few more Tempers continue to come in right now. Going to be seeing a couple of Zealots to the far right-hand side. They get picked off. Roaches and Ravagers going to take them down, no problem at all. And the Stalkers continue to work their way through these couple of Broodlords right here. So, a couple of Broods still just taking damage. And again, Broodlings just dropping down from Snute. You'll see some more Banes just coming in underneath this army as well. And still just setting up to see what might be next. You know, what might be the next sort of stage of this. Gold base from stats has not been up for very long. May not be up for too much longer either if Snute continues to push forwards. He did lose the base to the far right side. I mean, he's losing out on what, like 300, 400 minerals there? Not the end of the world. Maybe 500, if we're going to do the math correctly. Zealots do charge in top left as well. Snute's still having to deal with these consistent run-bys of stats. And I mean, stats has to do something with Zealots because he only has minerals in the bank. Tempest starting to come on in. And Snute's still missing out on Vipers. That's something he never really got back into. So that's going to be a little bit scary for him. No real way to fight against this just yet. He does have Infestors. He does have Neuroparasite available. There's another couple of Archons do get found. And uh-oh, stacking up the drones. So much more damage being done here. One Ravager and one Spine will clean out. But oh my god, that Archon killed like 20 more drones. Absolute insanity. As we're going to be seeing a few Zealots cleaned out over here. A few more Corruptors still coming out as well. He still has +2 Carapace in the sky, but that's about it. Still no attack upgrades to help him clean out these Tempests nice and quickly. And Snute basically has no economy left. He has to win the game super soon. Like, and he can, you know, he's only got minerals to kind of get rid of from stats right now. So all he has to do is win this fight, and stats can't rebuild anything useful apart from Zealots, which, you know, if there's even like 2 Brutals left, it's not going to be enough. So let's go. I think Snute has to, I mean, he's got like 11 workers. Like, what's he really hoping for right here? He's continuing to lose bases. He has to take a fight. Revelation comes down from the Oracle, gives stats some extra vision to work with. Snute wants to try and buy a bit of time, it seems. There we go. Neuroparasite's the first of these units right now. And, there's the feedback coming down, though. So the Infestor gets killed. He loses the Neural. Mothership is still here, making things a little bit tough for Snute. It's a difficult army to engage into, that's for sure. You see Corrosive Bowels. Oh, just missing the Void Ray here, the Warp Prism here. And the Warp Prism does manage to get away to the south once more. Zealots to the north side going to charge on in. They're going to pick off this Spore Crawler. So Spore Crawler does die. And Roaches, Ravagers are bailing here from Snute. Still just setting up and looking to see what else he can get up to. More Zealots charging on forwards. We're going to see the Hatchery continue to take some damage as well. Lings come in. They're going to surround these Zealots and clean them out as well. So continue to clean on up as we'll just continue to just pick away here. Another Zealot going down and pushing into the center of the map. I'm going to have a lot of Broodlords and Ravagers and Lings and all the rest of it pushing on in and looking to see what's about to happen. So here we go. Broodlords going to start dropping Broodlings down onto the ground. We're going to see these Ravagers working their way through this Nexus. Infestors nearby. Big Revelation coming down. And we're all going to see this Nexus being picked off. Storm coming down as well. Corrosive Bowels up in the sky. Tempest starting to fall too. Snoot's army supply is still even here. Don't look at the overall supply right now, because that's not too important. It's about army supply. It's this one army for Snute that has to win the game and still has that potential, but he's still being drawn back by Zealots, by Adepts, to try and clean this up. You're going to be seeing these units starting to get cleaned out right now, as Broodlings in the sky once again, dropping down, doing damage to these Stalkers, to the Archon, and whatever else as well. So continue to deal some damage here as we have bottom right-hand side is going to be Zealots and Archons gathering up together, and again, looking to see what else is going on. Corruptors here from Snute moving around, still looking to see what else is possible for him in the near future. Stalkers and an Archon. Going to pick away at a few more of these Crypt Tumors as well, so a few more of those are going down. I'm just going to be seeing Roaches and Ravagers. Still just looking around the map to see what else is happening. A few Stalkers and Archon as well. Still just cleaning up creep, but I feel Snoot's just waiting a bit too long, man. Like, how much longer can he wait for? I guess the thing is, stats is very limited on gas. He's only got one base of gas mine. He's only got like 1.6k gas left. That's still a lot. But if Snute still finds some efficient trades, it still might be enough. It still might be enough. Some Corrosive Bowels go down. Warpism just dodging away. I mean, these Archons that keep dying over here are kind of expensive for stats, really, but man, I can't believe Snoot's just on such low eco. He's actually just mining some minerals over here on this base. This is all of Snoot's workers. 11 drones all on one base right now. As we see, well, Snute just going to open up this right-hand pathway, taking down these rocks. 25 minutes into Proxima Station. And it's complete insanity right now between Snute and Stats in Game 2 of their series. In the WardiTV Weekly Season 1 Finals, it's Group D. It's our third series of the day. We've got 3 more Best of 3s to come in after this. 3 more Best of 3s to come in after this. We see another Nexus dropping down, and, well, Broodlords dropping down some Broodlings. You see a Broodling or 2 going up towards this upper left side, and here you go. Roaches and now Broodlords dropping down Broodlings again. Trying to work his way through this as Stats still just gathering up with this army towards the center. We're going to see this Nexus gets denied, and that's important for Snute. Denying these bases keeps the gas count low of Stats, and that means he can't build as many valuable units as he might really want to at this point. 9 workers now, as this time Snute will turn the army away. I just wonder what Snute has to wait for, though, you know, because the longer he sits around and waits, the more he lets Stats mine to some extent, and I don't feel it gets better for Snute as it does for Stats right here, so I'm not really sure what Snute should do. Like, does he just force a fight? It's very difficult, because I don't feel he quite has the right composition. Like, A couple of Vipers would be so wonderful. Just slowly start picking these Tempests away and pulling them forwards. Could go such a long way to really help out in this. And as we're going to be seeing stats with good amount of units down over here. We're going to see some Zealots going to charge in, and that's going to be a dead hatchery to the far bottom right. So that's going to be going down as well. And Snute still is moving around, cleaning out Zealots. And I mean, that's the thing. He's got to keep these Ravagers alive. Another Ravager drops. It's another expensive unit for Snute down the drain. And again, he could have just maybe kept... I mean, it's hard, right, to keep it alive, but it was possible. And that's the thing. You've got to make the most of everything right now. And Snute's position is stats. Starting to push forwards a little bit himself. Not too much, though. Still a little bit afraid, perhaps, of what is going on. Snute going to morph in another Broodlord. I mean, does that help him? One more Broodlord. He's up on 22 drones. Resources lost 45 to 42k. But now Stats is on the gold base again. And so suddenly Stats has access to extra gas. You look at the income, it's been very heavily in Stats' favor. And the only benefit for Snute was that most of this was in Zealots, so it wasn't too useful because it was mostly just minerals. But now that it's gas mining as well, that's when Snute's really just not going to have an answer to this anymore. And I think his opportunities are disappearing. It feels as though Stats is going to find a way to clean this up and to win game 2 and to move through this group 3-0. First place to advance into the playoffs. We'll set him up against either Bjorn, Sue, or Sola in the round of 8 if he advances first place in this. You see Brutal gets taken down right here, blinking forward. Stalker's getting rid of one queen. You see a couple of fungal growths coming down, missing completely. Gonna get rid of that observer at least, and a Stalker too, which goes a bit too far forwards. In the main base though, now Snute, he doesn't really have enough units to send over here to defend this anymore, so he's slowly losing hatcheries, tech structures as well. And he doesn't have an economy to build much else, so it's not too important, but once again, just Snat slowly taking over the game. And you can see the mini-map, it's starting to be less and less red structures on here as Stats just cleans on up. And he still has plenty of his own. Yes, he's mining out this base up here, but he's got fresh bases to the south side, maintaining his economy throughout this game. He might still hit the 30-minute marker. I don't know if this fight's going to happen in the next minute and a half, but maybe. Snoot's pushing forwards. He looks as though he wants to take it. I mean, after waiting for so long, it's interesting that... Oh my god, those tempers very nearly go down. Oh wow, that's crazy. That could have been a big pick-off right there. Oh wow. Wow, that's insane. As we're going to see these Zealots and these Archons. We do clean up this hatchery to the top side. We're going to see more of these units coming on to fight on in. We're going to be seeing Broodlings cleaning up probes. This Nexus is going to go down as well. I'm just going to be seeing this Hive 2 continue to fall. I mean, that was kind of crazy. Nearly killed all the Tempests, but it's still just not enough for Snute. He's losing this base as well. That was most of his mining in too. So now Snute's economy is going to be pretty much zero. We're actually more or less on 10 minutes of Stats just being completely ahead in eco. Insane that Snute held on for so long. Insane that he made it happen. You can see about 10 minutes ago he had the army supply advantage he could have utilized while, you know, Stats started to take an eco lead. But he never did take that eco lead. You know, he never made use of that army. And it's just slowly dwindled, and now Stats is built up with that eco advantage which he has held. Really nice little use of the graphs there to really show us how this game changed in the past 10 minutes or so and what really happened. As now we see, ooh, Neuroparasite on the mothership again. I mean, it's something, right? I'm up to a couple of fungal growths and High Templar. I mean, having the mothership's okay. It's neat, but there's no real follow-up to this anymore, you know? I mean, I guess he can Corrosive Ballot down. He's just going to use it to get an invisible army to push forwards. Well, you know what? If he has an invisible army, maybe it's possible. Well, he only has 2 infestors left, so he uses loses the Neuroparasites, and Stats is still struggling for money, man. Like, Stats, 35 workers only now on the map, and I mean, he's got so many mined out bases. Actually, a lot of High Templar just left over here. I guess he just warped those in, so I guess he knows about them. Pushing forwards again, Snute. Roach Ravager, 30 minutes in the game, does not look pretty. A few Broodlords as well, but there's nothing to take down the Tempest, and that will be GG. We do pass the 30-minute